April 27. What a pleasure meeting you here. Grab a coffee and let's get smarter together. I guess what I want to talk about can be called hubris, our hubris toward the past. To do that, let me introduce you to the German existentialist philosopher Karl Jasper. He is the person who has coined the name Excel Age for the time period from 800 to around 200 BC. He even wrote it in his book Way to Wisdom. Let us designate this period as the Excel Age. And he argued in this book that this was the first period in history in which human beings applied principles of reasoned inquiry to the great questions of human existence. Jasper lived from 1883 to 1969, unable to know that science debunked Enlightenment reason. So he is forgiven for emphasizing that kind of thinking. But basically, with this statement, what he did is questioning the intelligence of all the humans that came before. And he isn't alone with this. It's just another way of saying that only with the foundation of cities, we humans were capable of developing the GUI in our brains that allow us to do art, science, culture, you name it, to make progress. And for the progress we've made, everything else is acceptable. The Uber explorers forcing the majority of humans to accept their right to solely explore, what means that we others have to give up any possibility to explore themselves and become Uber exploiters. Not to mention Uber explorers competitions, also known as conflicts and wars, and so on. Let's start confronting this way. Human beings, you and me, today, I will already insert here and put a pin into this because I will return to it. Human beings today are across the board Uber explorers as much as Uber exploiters terrible at detecting intelligence. We generally do okay with middle-sized objects moving at medium speed through three-dimensional space. Present humans, birds, dolphins, octopuses, you name it. But there are other spaces in which complex creatures navigate, spend effort and try to achieve goals. To name a few, there's the gene expression space, or the physiological space, or the anatomical morphospace. If you could feel your blood chemistry like your liver does, you would probably know how much intelligence is needed by liver cells to keep levels of certain chemicals inside certain sets of parameters. And here we come to the point. The detection of intelligence is much more an intelligence test given to us than it gives us certainty about the world around us. We need a way to probe. Probing is communication. Communication depends heavily on a common language. Jasper could detect human beings applying principles of reasoned inquiry to the great questions of human existence because these exact ideas developed back then have remained the stuff of philosophical debate ever since, and no really new ideas have been added. These ideas have only been exploited, for example, to define Enlightenment reason. Same with the whole field of math, all an exploitation of a framework that has been set up at this time. And this already proves that neither Uber explorers nor Uber exploiters will create the gain for society that a society with a permission structure for all to explore more than to exploit would. But going back to the golden age of philosophy, one other reason given for the perceived explosion of knowledge and thinking is that the actual age was the first time in human history when the familiarity with the written word was no longer limited to priests, administrators, and merchants, but had become necessary to full participation in civic life. Without mass literacy, it is said, neither the emergence of mass intellectual movements nor the spread of Axel Age ideas would have been possible. Again, This literacy is only detectable this easily for us because we use the systems to store information outside our heads today that are based on the systems started at the time in these regions. Still today we have no idea how to read quipus, for example, something we have already detected as an information storage system. And we have no idea how many other information storage systems that worked perfectly well for our ancestors we haven't yet acknowledged as such. Because we have boxed our thinking. Uber explorers don't even know what exploration once really meant, and Uber exploiters are kept from exploration because the current system only functions if they Uber exploit. Progress isn't all what it is made out to be. For real progress, explore, as known as think. Make a habit out of thinking. Let's turn thinking into a movement. Like, comment, share, and follow, lest you miss a single opportunity to improve yourself and society. And just like that, coffee break is over. See you next time at the coffee pot.